This is Michael. This is another episode of True Confessions. And I want to demonstrate and explain the meaning of a mystery, an ancient mystery, actually. On the table here, I have some candles. I'm hoping that I might be able to dub in a song that I wrote that I didn't quite understand what it meant when I wrote it. And I didn't really like it because I didn't understand it. But then things happened and I came to understand what it meant. And then I began to realize there was this pattern that was emerging in things I was doing after reading that ancient book of Enoch, the prophet. This pattern of things I was just habitually doing. And I couldn't understand why until I understood it all. And I'm going to explain the epiphany that I had about the meaning of it. Okay, within the ancient book of Enoch, the prophet, there is this code. It's a numerical code that appears in part 3 uh, of my poetic retelling version of it. But it is within the 1883 version for sure. That the wording in there indicates a clue that's numerical that nobody's ever considered to be a numerical clue about a binary number, and that binary number happens to be 101101. So I'm going to demonstrate the pattern. Now I want the audience to understand that these revelations about such things, they come to me at a variety of time during the day or night. They don't have to occur to me just at one particular time. And I'm pointing this out because I want people to understand that there is no set time of day or night that I receive these prophetic messages. It could happen any time of day or night. Now, the problem I'm having at the present time is that I can't get these wicks to stand up to where they've been flattened to, and I can't get them up because I don't have fingernails to get down in there. Now, my fingernails are full of wax. It's very uncomfortable, I'm sorry to say. In any case, I did happen to have something handy. I did happen to have something handy that I could maybe just pop those up a little bit and light them. Now, I've been creating this pattern for a while in my shows, and I knew there was a purpose for it. But I wasn't sure what it was. I knew 101101 was the code in this ancient book of Enoch, and that it was a binary code, and that it represented the number 45. Okay. My last and most, reasonable conclusion about the meaning of that number was that it referred to the year 45 BC as some type of date to remember, because it was a date when I think it was 45 BC, right? As we know it, that was the date when the Romans determined uh, the Gregorian calendar. Whatever that calendar is that we use today was actually, it was the calendar based upon the sun instead of based upon the moon. So the days of the year switched from being 364 to being 365 when we switched from a lunar calendar, pre-Roman era, to a solar calendar, which gave us 365 days a year. Plus, leap year once in one, additional one every. It's a joke. All right, but there is some humor in all of it. And in any case, the ancient prophecy within that was trying to tell us that in 45 BC, we'll make a grave mistake about how we calculate the days, because we were told when at the time after the flood, we were told that we would have a certain number of years in our existence on Earth to correct our evolutionary progression, or God would wipe us out a second time. So we had 6,000 years of time to evolve into a peaceful species from the time of the Great Flood, Noah's time. Because that's when God reset the earth with a flood. He wiped out all these really bad civilizations. Ice comets came to the earth, melted, increased the volume of water on the planet. And there we go. What happened, happened. The real understanding of it all could go back as much as millions of years for this particular planet. But in terms of God's years in relationship to man, it could be like 6,000 years. I mean, there's some mathematical correlation we just don't get, where it's not possible for us to mathematically determine when that would be, that day upon which God would decide to end our civilization, our species, because we failed to evolve within the amount of time God allowed us to have to evolve to be a peaceful species. So if we failed to do that, if God gave us that amount of time and we failed to evolve to be a peaceful species, then God would come back and say, okay, I gave you that time. You messed it up. All right, I'm going to wipe you out now. I'm sorry I got to do it, but I got to kill off all of you dum-dums who can't accept that, there's only one God. And Jesus Christ wasn't it. No, Muhammad wasn't it either. Nor was Moses. Not entirely. At least not today. Not since Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ was the messenger. But he wasn't the Son of God. Nor was he God. So all you pagans who perverted the message of Jesus Christ, who was the person who delivered that message from God about all that I'm telling you now, he was trying to tell you, look, God is eternal and is in the dimension of the Holy Spirit. But there was no quiet place on the earth when Jesus died. There was no quiet place on the earth when Christ died. There was no quiet place. There was no quiet place when Jesus died. There was no quiet place when Christ died. There was no quiet place on God's green earth when the Messiah died. There was no quiet place on God's green earth when the Messiah died. There was no quiet place. No. There was no quiet place when Jesus died. There was no quiet place when pagans killed him. There will be no quiet place in the universe when I die. There will be no quiet place in the universe when we all die. Because pagans keep killing the Christ. Because pagans keep killing the Christ.